Participants, welcome back to the Game Dev Arena. We have another default video here, and we are actually going to be going over DefSave. I was looking at this, looking at a way to save things and load things, and I came upon DefSave. So I'm creating this video so that way we can go over how to use it, how to get it into your project, and implement a simple leaderboard that will show a persistent high score for your game. We are going to be using my title that I have on itch.io called Holding. So with DefSave here, what you would want to do is I took this right here, this little zip link. I just copied it. Control C on my Windows laptop copies it. Here is the GitHub. So if you go onto here, you can go click there and you'll get over to the GitHub here. And the GitHub has DefSave. So the GitHub has a few instructions on how to install, how to go through it, but we're gonna do it through this video here. But if you wanted to, I'll leave a link to the GitHub as well as the asset portal for DefSave and the Defold website in the description. But let's go ahead and we score the enemy at 1 point or 1 defeat in this matter. So again, with enemy 2, the enemy 2 game object, so we got enemy 1, so the second enemy, same thing, displays the enemy hit message, providing from its table that I created, we score the enemy as 1 defeat. Then we go into our GUI here, open up our script. So here we have where we start implementing DefSave. So first and foremost, we're going to open up our game project. And now here, right here under dependencies, under the project section, you got dependencies. This is where you would add the URL from here. So this master zip, this is what you would copy and paste into here. Just simply click that plus arrow, paste it into there. Once you've done that, you gotta go to project, you fetch the libraries, click on that, and then it'll get fetched and you'll see the modules, all the files set up in there, and then you have access to all of it. From there, we go into our script and we have to require the module. So the DefSave module, so we do a local DefSave just as the variable, so that way we can access all of its functionality, and we require it. So we get DefSave. You don't add in the .lua extension. You just the file name itself, and that's it. Now here we have what you need to add into there. This default data is an optional method that you use. Don't have to use it. The main ones that you need to use is the app name, because you have to provide a name for saving everything. So that way a folder can be created in the specific file system that is created for saving everything by DefSave. Load the player. So you got to load a file name into that folder of the app name. Once you load that, then you make sure you save it. And if you do, you don't have to have this true here, but to basically force the save, you want to make sure you put true, but you don't have to have true in there. You can just have player by itself. So these 3 lines in between here is a must-have in the initialization function of whatever script that you're going to be working with. So see that? So you got app name, load, save. Then we scroll down. This defsave.save all. What that is saying is it's going to save everything once the system has closed out, since it is final. The final function basically says once everything is closed out, you're going to save all before everything is officially done. And then we go down, and then under here we have that enemy hit message that was sent from our player. So player sends the enemy hit message into our GUI. We have that self defeats is what I have here. So right now we set the self defeats variable to 0. In this way, once we get the message from enemy hit in our player to provide that score enemy, which would be 1. So you see score enemy here. That's the message that needs to be conveyed into our self-defeat counter. So we do self-defeats equals self-defeats plus message dot score underscore enemy. Basically the same thing as saying +1, which is what you see here. Once you go through there, then you set the text to the node that's going to be going to. I like to string format it so that way it has some zeros in there, and we just put in the self-defeats variable into that string format. Then you want to make sure that you set the score to self-defeats, so that way DefSave can save it and get the proper information from the score method that goes into the player. And then from there is when you see the leaderboard. So we go into our leaderboard GUI. So I've got my leaderboard here. So we got our leaderboard showing the feats. Go into our script. So once again, you got the DefSave that you have to require so that way you can access its functionality. You always add the app name into everything because it accesses that particular folder, and then load accesses the file for that folder. Now you'll see we don't have save here because the only thing we're doing is loading the information. So here we set the information to score, and that information that had to be used was self-defeats. So as the counter for self-defeats goes up with every enemy that you defeat, you will see that the information of self-defeats gets saved into the player score, the score variable or the score information within the player. One sec. Before my computer dies on me. All right, so once we get the amount for the number of defeats the player has created, we set the score to self-defeats. So if you look here, defsave dot set. So the set will, you supply it the file name, which is player. You create a key for it. So for this key is score, and then the value that goes into score or set to score is self.defeats. which is this right here. So we get this from here, and we set within the actual in-game GUI to it as well. Then we go into our leaderboard, we load the player file, so that way we can get, so defsave.get will allow us to get the score that will be implemented into our leaderboard. And simple as that, you're able to utilize DefSave to get like a simple leaderboard within the game itself. Of course, you can create leaderboards through the Google Play APIs or the PlayFab APIs, which is something that I'm also going to look into as well. But just to get an idea of how to use DefSave, you have a couple of use cases right here. So once again, just as a recap, always want to make sure you require the module here. You got to define the app name, the load file, and the save file. And then whenever you need to extract information, you still got to go with the required module method. You got to make sure you provide the app name so that way it knows what folder to access the files from. And then you load the file that you're using, and then you can get whatever, you can extract whatever information you have set within that file. In this case, we just did score to supply the number of defeats that the player has done during in-game play. So I am gonna, of course, refine this a lot more and try to make it a little bit more streamlined, but for the purposes of this video, you get a general sense on how to use DefSave in a really easy fashion, so that way everything can work properly. If you do have any questions, or if you try to utilize it yourself and it doesn't work, leave a comment and I can definitely troubleshoot for you. If you do get everything to work properly, then hit the like button and share so other people can also see how to use this awesome asset called DefSave. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description for the asset portal page as well as the GitHub, so that way you can get to those quick and easy. But with that, there's nothing else. So without further ado, it's game over. Without further ado, it's game over.